Good morning, traders. Today is Monday, June 28th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. All right, well, I wanted to start this morning a little bit zoomed out here to give everyone some perspective before I get more nuanced into the details of what I'm looking at today. I just wanted everybody to see the clear excess happening in the market. You can see the trend line. We don't normally look at channels like this in the market profile because we don't often get them this clean and clear. But obviously it goes without saying that this is bullish, right? Up and to the right. So this is a trend. This is momentum. And I'm bringing it up today. I'm starting off today pointing this out because I'm going to talk about all this weakness that we have below. But I don't want that to distract you in today's trade. Okay? So basically, all this weakness that we built up last week in the way that we pushed higher, we have the poor low from 623. We also left a poor low behind yesterday. We also left an unfilled gap behind on the 23rd. And then these couple of weak references from the 24th as well. So pretty much since we broke out of this balance down here, okay, the market constantly moving from balance to excess. We barely balanced down here, just one overnight session and one daytime session, created a poor low, and then we started to push higher. So this whole move, all this excess, has been on poor structure, has been built on top of poor structure, and we continue unfilled gap, poor structure, weak references left behind, poor low left behind, weak references left behind, right? So we're continuing to push higher each day on weak references on top of, so we call this poor structure, okay? And what poor structure tells us is that at some point this market needs to pull back down, okay? That's really important to keep in the back of your mind as you trade over the next few days, but it's also important, and the reason that I bring this up is that you keep it in the back of your mind. Don't let this distract you. The momentum of the market is strong, and that's going to outweigh the weak references we're leaving behind, hence why we keep doing it, right? The reason we keep leaving this weakness here and not repairing it is because there's so much strength in the momentum of the market, okay? They're seeing those all-time highs. They're getting greedy. They're pushing. They're going to keep doing that as long as it works. As long as we keep waking up the next morning and seeing the same pattern overnight, where the overnight market balances just a little bit higher, we're going to keep pushing higher, okay? So that being said, last night's overnight did exactly the same thing as Thursday night's overnight did. They rotated around within the day's range, looked a little bit higher, and we are now going to open with a gap up. It's going to be a very small gap. But more importantly than the gap is the spike rules. We created the spike in the M period. You could argue it was from the L period or the M period. But the long and short of it is either way, we are opening above that spike. Okay? Spike rules tell us if you open above a spike, it is very, very bullish. So that is good to see and a sign of the continued momentum. Okay? So this morning, what I'll be watching when the market opens in 2 minutes, I'll be watching first for that gap fill, which if we open this close to it, we'll definitely get. And then what happens when we get to that gap fill. So once we get into yesterday's range up in here, around the 42.76 level, once we get below there, what happens? Does the market start to bring in support or not? If we fail, that could make the overnight a look above and fail of yesterday's range. So then I would just assume the market is going to start selling off. It's up to you whether you'd want to take a short at that point to try to catch the move down, or if you'd rather just wait for the push down. When the market finds support, go long with it. Okay, either way is a playable move, just because of the fact that we had the spike, so that should be support, and the fact that we left all these weak references behind. It is safe, I think, early in the day to go short for those if we don't find support here. Okay, there's the opening bell. All right, so it looks like an immediate gap fill. Nothing to see there. So now we're looking for that support somewhere around here, around the upper end of yesterday's range. Okay, the markets, the internals are opening bullish, but only a little bit. So once again, guys, finding support here in the first few minutes of the day in this area would be bullish for continuation higher. A failure to find support in this area, particularly, let's just call it this node of volume right here. If this node of volume fails, you're likely to start heading down to repair some of these weak references. Okay? So Paul mentioning the liquidation break this morning. It's a great point, and that's what I'm talking about with all this weakness we have below us. Okay, we want to keep that in mind, but we don't want to be afraid to go long in case the momentum is going to continue further. But it is also worth noting if we get a liquidation break today, oh boy, zoomed way out. If we do get a liquidation break today, getting down to a poor low, a great spot for potential support, backfilling a gap, and then if not the poor low down here, that would be a pretty huge liquidation down to here. But if it happened, it would be buyable down here if it's finding support. So keep that in mind should that happen, but again, stay focused on the momentum first until it breaks. All right. Well, good morning, Daniel. First one up this morning. Good to see you. Nor Trading is back with us. Good to see you. Art K. Leon in the chat. Good morning to you. And thank you for the reminder. Yeah, for those of you that signed up for the Brigade in the first few days, your membership will be up. As I mentioned on Friday, the way I set it up when I first programmed it, I made a mistake. And when the first few groups of people signed up, they were only buying a 1-month subscription. So your subscription will be up now. If you want to continue, you have to buy it again. But this time, it'll be a reoccurring payment from there on out. You won't have to do it again. SHK 230 back with us. Good morning to you. Nav Trader is here. Good morning. John is here from London. Welcome to you. Ricky Bobby back with us. Good morning. Paul A, good morning to you. Nirmal is here. Good morning to you. Naif as well. Good to see you. Pavel back with us. Good morning. Chris is here. Good to see you as well. Enjoying the heat, I hope. Normal. Is the POC at 42.73.75? Yes, the POC from last night, from the overnight, that is at 42.73.75. And I'm really looking not necessarily specifically at that level, but the node of volume just below it. So anywhere between here and here, right? This area should act as support. If it fails, we're probably looking at trying to repair some of this weakness down here. Okay? It looks like that's the direction we're going now. All right. Good morning, John. Good to see you. Good morning, Jose. So we're finding support right now in that node of volume. Once again, if this cannot hold, we're likely to see more of a pullback here this morning as sort of a look above and fail of yesterday's range. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Kim. Good to see you again. Good morning, Herman, back with us. Douglas, do I have a live member trading room? Yes, I do. It's called the Pirate Traders Brigade. Link in the description. Marco's going to be gone for 2 days. We'll miss you, brother. All right, well, internals going bearish on us here. At the same time, we're starting to break that node of volume. So it looks like the market needs to pull back a little bit here. So the way we're going to do this is we're just going to watch for support as the market works its way down, and then just monitor for continuation to the downside. So if it doesn't find support in this node of volume, does it find it right here at the overnight low? If not, the next one down here, and then at the repair of the poor low. Okay, so we just monitor it as it continues lower. Well, yeah, let's jump over and take a quick look at the NQ. Wow, it's breaking out this morning. So it basically was balancing on Friday, okay? And then it balanced again Sunday night into this morning. So this morning it looks like it's breaking out of that balance. That's very bullish. So you would essentially consider that right there the balancing area, okay? So as long as it stays above here, if it pulls back down, it finds support right here, it should continue to push higher. So I would say when it pulls back down, if it finds support anywhere above this node of volume, right around the opening price, a little bit above the opening price, if it finds support down here, that's probably a very good long trade for continuation higher. Looks like it's pulling back a little bit with the ES, but okay, so the ES selling down. So we got through that first node of volume. Now we're pushing through that second node of volume. So if that cannot hold the support, it's feeling like a liquidation break too. Tempo, thin volume. So the next stop below that node of volume is going to be this little one down here at the week I period pullback low. If it doesn't find support there, once it repairs the poor low, if it fails that, you know, just keep working your way down through these weak references. Okay, so this low here that we just created in the A period is a poor low because it came exactly to the tick of a weak reference from Friday. The market often pushes away from a poor low once it first creates it, but then almost always comes back to repair it at some point. So this is that push away. Does it come back and repair it? If it doesn't, if it just continues to push higher from here, again, that shows the momentum is continuing. We've been doing that every other day, the last few times. But if it comes back to repair it very quickly, that would be bearish, that it's going to continue further. So let's keep an eye on that. Please smash that like button. Support the channel. Support the stream. Support the pirate. I appreciate you. Kathy asks, is 4256 good support? 4256. Yeah, that could hold as support. That little note of volume right around that POC from the 24th. And you need to find support there, because if you break through that node, you're almost certainly going to try to backfill this gap down here. So that's sort of your last support before you head to fill that gap. Akbar, as to whether or not I would buy yesterday's low, I would wait first I mean, sorry, the value area low from yesterday, I would wait until the market finds support there. So don't buy it just because the market gets down there. You got a poor low right there, which is, if they come that close, it should repair that poor low. And then not much, like I said, just that one node of volume from that previous day, and then just nothing all the way down to fill in the gap. So I wouldn't be jumping into a long trade here unless I was certain the market had already found support and was working its way higher. Right now, the trend is down. Stay with the trend. Short it or step aside. Okay, we could be potentially building support right here at the node left behind from Friday. The node of volume right around the POC. So far, the market is finding support there, and we got good taper below. Douglas, what do I look at to know the market is starting to find support? I'm looking at the volume, right? This whole time that it's been grinding around here, it's been building volume in this one little area. And that corresponds exactly with the volume from the previous day, from Friday. And that is a common thing you see for support, right? The market trades back down into a previous node, and then it finds support there and pushes higher. So that's the first thing that caught my eye. The second thing was the good taper, okay? So it found support, made good taper below, meaning it had a good two-way auction process below that support level. It just increases the odds in my mind that that's what this is. Now, I'm not certain yet, obviously, but it does look like it wants to act as support here. Okay. The support that's forming, this is from Nav Traders, the support that's forming should be sellers, right? Because in a liquidation break, if it was buyers, it would have gone back up already, right? Well, no. This is not a liquidation break. It started to feel like one for a second, and I may have said, like, ooh, it's feeling like a liquidation break, but it's not. A liquidation break would have continued to sell off. Finding support this immediately is just a pullback, right? We're still inside the previous day's range. We just barely dipped below the overnight low. So this wasn't a liquidation break. This is just a normal, just a pullback in the market, looking for support, and it found it at the next major node of support that was waiting, you know? So that's good to see. Starting to feel more bullish here now that that's holding. And we're bringing in volume above these levels. Richard Long. Hi, Charles. Can't see. Is the 625H period weak? I don't think so. Yes, it was, but then it would have just been repaired. Oh, no, you're right. Damn, good call. So that's another poor low the market just created. Thank you for pointing that out. All right, so that is a poor low down there for today. Increasing the odds that at some point the market needs to come down here and repair it. Yeah. So, yeah, Nav Trader, just answering your second question here. Yeah, this just wasn't a liquidation break. It was just a pullback. And Richard, yep, it is now a poor low, as I said, because it was weak. Yeah, thank you, Arcaleon. It's the tempo. For a second, it fell very quickly. And that was like, ooh, maybe this is going to be a liquidation break. But as soon as it started to grind around, you know it's not a liquidation break. Because liquidation break is panic, right? So it just keeps falling and falling and falling and gets faster and faster. Bobo, yep, there is a Discord group if you join the Brigade. Link in the description. Okay, so finding support this early in the day is actually bullish, right? Only a market that's still got momentum higher is gonna continue to push higher on another poor low. You know, it came this close to repairing the weak pullback lows. If it didn't get down there, that's another sign of strength. So I'm starting to get the feeling, my spidey senses are starting to tingle here, that this market wants to trend higher again today. Yeah, Marco, with your question about the trade, this is one of those things where it's each trader. I can't give an answer to people whether they should trade this and how they should trade it. Each trader must trade their own system, their own style, their own way of trading. For some people, they should have gone long the second that I said, "Oh, look, the market's finding support." Right? That's for some traders. That's the signal. They're seeing support. They go long. So hopefully they took profits on that long. Now they're watching the market pull back and they're looking for the next support here so they can do the same thing again. For some traders that are slower, calmer traders, they'd rather wait and let this work itself out. Wait till they get one time framing higher. They get support again on another pullback in this same area, whatever, right? So I can't tell you guys how to take trades. You have to decide based on what kind of trader you are. All I'm trying to do here on this live stream is just tell you what I'm seeing in the market. How you choose to trade that is up to you. So beyond that, there's not much I can assist in helping with individual trades. As far as what I'm looking at here in this market, as I've been saying all morning, I believe in the momentum. I believe in the strength of this market, of the short-term buyers continuing to push it higher. So that belief has still been held, right? The fact that this morning pulled back, found support at the first chance it could, that is a bullish sign to me. But I'm not in a bullish trade right now because I'm not certain just yet. I'm still building an opinion. So I always need to have certainty before I enter a trade. For those of you that have been with the channel a while, my way of looking at markets and looking at trading is I only need to take one trade a day. That's it. I could sit here for the next 6 hours and do nothing and then take one single trade in the last half an hour of the day and make all the money I need to make from that one trade. So just the way I personally like to trade, I like to wait until I know for sure what the market is doing and then enter those trades. Okay. So I went short earlier, got stopped out on the way back up for a small profit, and now I'm just sitting on my hands, waiting until I know what the market's going to do. Okay. It looks like it wants to trend higher. It looks like it wants to build support here and then go higher. But I don't know yet, so I'm not entering a trade. Yep, let's jump over and look at the NQ. NQ is one time framing higher, which is bullish. Yeah, I mean, everything about this looks good. Same as before. If it's able to pull back down towards its opening price, if it finds support above that level, that is bullish. Or obviously, if it finds support anywhere between here and there. So if it pulls back down and it gets into these nodes, finds support there, that's a good long trade. If it comes back down to the halfback, which is at 14,429, and it finds support there, that's a great long trade, right? The so-called strong hands, how often do I think they come in? Well, that's a complicated statement. The strong hands is a lot of different people, right? It's long-term investors. It's mom and pop investors. It's people who buy into a 401k and they leave it there for 30 years or whatever. And then it's also there's a very large pool of capital that's sort of longer-term swing traders. So sorry, guys, I got to take this call. 1 second. Okay, so obviously internals are pretty weak here. So it seems like the market isn't going to find support because we're not really bringing in any buyers at these levels, just enough to hold up the market, but we're not pushing any higher. All right, guys, so we got a market that is kind of just rotating here. It's kind of just in balance. Let's take a quick look at the NQ. Okay, it remains bullish, still one time framing higher. The internals aren't really giving me a good signal one way or another, but it does look like they want to start trending higher, right? We're getting some higher lows here, some higher highs. We've also kind of made a low in the advancers versus decliners, and we're now pushing a little bit higher. So it's a sign that, the market wants to push higher, but it's not quite ready yet, and it just needs to balance a bit more. In 7 minutes, we'll print the C period. Whichever direction the C period breaks outside of this candle could be a signal of the direction the market is going to go. But right now, we got to let them just kind of grind it out, figure out what's going on. Let me jump into the chat, answer some questions here. Douglas, member daily trade room in Discord, go to webinar. Yeah, it's basically I just continue this live stream the same as it is here, just for the full day, if you're a member of the Brigade. Speaking of which, going to switch on over in 6 minutes to the Brigade stream. Marco, I just wonder what you see and what your strategy is a little bit. Yeah, the problem is if you're asking me what my trading system is or what my trading strategy is, it means you don't understand what I'm teaching here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you should look to anyone else for a trading system. I don't think that you should look to even me for how I actually take trades, how I enter and exit positions, because you and I are different people. It's better for you to first develop a market understanding. First learn to read markets. Then you develop your own system for entering and exiting trades based on your observations. And so all I'm trying to do here on this channel is just show you guys how I look at the market. This is how I look at the market. This is what I see. This is what these things tell me, the indications that they give me. But for you to choose to take trades based on that should be under your own parameters, right? You shouldn't care how I choose to enter or exit a trade. You should focus on what works for you. And I know that's frustrating because I know you're thinking, Charles, just give me your system. I'll start with your system and then I'll build from there, right? I'll figure out what you do and then I'll decide what works for me and doesn't work for me. But that, unfortunately, is why 90% of traders fail, because they try to do it that way. They try to take something that works for somebody else and make it work for themselves. That's not the way you get to profitability. The way you get to profitability is by generating it from within for yourself. What do you see in the market? You know, what do you see an opportunity? If not, don't try to take trades for that. Wait till it works for you. And it's frustrating because it's difficult. It's a difficult thing for me to explain, and it's a difficult thing for you guys to understand. I spent years and years and years trying to learn from guru after guru after guru, and just thinking if they'll just teach me their system, then I'll be profitable. And it never worked until Jim Dalton told me, forget everybody's system, create your own. That's when and it was hard. It's hard to do. I'm not saying it's easy to just just watch the market yourself and invent your own system for trading it. Like, it's very, very hard, but there's very few jobs where you can make as much money as you can make as a trader. And that's why you have to put in the work. It's just not easy. So yeah, I don't mind you asking me for my trading system, Marco. I just need you to understand that that's not how you will become profitable. You will become profitable when you think up your own system. So anyway, off my soapbox. Yeah, Donkey, I will. I will respond to that as soon as I can. Interesting. So they're getting rid of the cutoff between 3:15 and 3:30. That's so interesting. Yeah, I am curious how that affects things. I guess we're going to find out. Yeah, Naif, you're kind of touching on it down here. Um, yeah, it's you want it. That's the way you want to develop a system. You want to just paper trade and just invent things. Say to yourself, what works, what doesn't work. You know, you could start. So if you're a brand new trader, okay, who's never traded before, and you're just trying to develop a system, a great place to start right here, the 15-minute candles and the 20 moving average on. Do nothing but that. Just look at that. And when the market pushes down to it, just go long, right? And then see what happens. Do you make money? Do you lose money? And then do it again and again and again, day in and day out. And eventually what you'll do is you'll develop a system for trading the 20 moving average. You'll know, okay, I always buy the first touch. And then if it doesn't come back down and touch again within 30 seconds, I hold that trade for continuation. If it does, I exit at a one-stop profit. Like, you'll invent a system that works for trading this based on your eyeballs seeing it over and over every day. And then you'll practice the art of physically entering those trades. It sounds silly, but just the thing of visually seeing the market come down to this level and then hitting that buy button and training your brain to trust that every time you hit that 15, you buy it. That's how you develop a system. Me just saying to you, hey, I buy the 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles, that's not going to help you. You have to see it happen and decide yourself, I want to enter a trade here, understand why you're entering the trade in order to have the confidence to do it over and over and over again for the next 20 years of your life. Right? Me just saying to you, enter at the moving average isn't going to help you. All right, guys. Well, the C period printing inside the B period here is just another sign that the market has uncertainty. It's not ready to move up or down from here. It's still trying to figure itself out. So the first thing that I'll be watching here is what direction does the C period break the B period? Does it break the high or the low first? And I will assume the market's going to continue in that direction. Okay. Thank you guys so much. It's been fun. I'm going to switch on over to that private stream for Brigade members only. If you are not a member of the Brigade, there's a link in the description. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you here tomorrow morning.